Dear guests, it gives me great pleasure and honor to be able to welcome you to the YASED International Investment Summit 2020. This year is a special occasion for YASED. YASED is celebrating 40 years of its establishment. On this note, please join me in congratulating YASED on its 40 years, and we look forward to another 40 years. Well done, YASED. Today, we will be talking about the global supply chain and the effects of COVID-19 and the period beyond COVID-19 pandemic and the global supply chain. It would be true to say that it's been a game changer, a very important milestone. On this note, YASED has started an extremely important initiative, Project Safe Harbor. This project basically identifies a new value story for Turkey, considering the fact that Turkey is well placed across the global supply chain and the effects and the opportunities beyond COVID-19. Today, I would like to basically structure my talk in three parts: before globalization, during globalization, and the supply chain after COVID-19. So basically, when we talk about globalization, I can take you back centuries. But however, for pragmatic purposes, we'd like to look back, let's say, the last 40 or 50 years. So before this time, goods and services were designed and produced in the West and sold elsewhere. As the Eastern markets in the world became more and more attractive, we found that these markets were a good place for Western products. Now, the automotive industry is an area which I know quite well, and I can tell you that the automotive industry has experienced this global supply chain changes significantly in the last half century. So before globalization, goods and services designed and produced in the West and sold in the East. That was the business model. And then the business model changed to the fact that during globalization, we had semi-finished goods and products produced or designed in the East, shipped all the way to the West, thousands of kilometers, built into the finished product, and then the finished product was again shipped thousands of kilometers back to the East and sold in the Eastern countries. So basically, a little bit of the supply chain started to change here. But we could see that the demand increasing for finished products in the Eastern market caused a lot of trade imbalances and, of course, unemployment and the local value add imbalances there with the current business model. So in the second part of globalization, we had companies or brands which were traditionally producing in the West, the finished product, were basically investing now into the East. So they're in a position where they were sourcing from the East, producing in the East, but because the cost competitive was so attractive, the reverse started to happen where the finished products in the East were being transported thousands and thousands of miles to the West. And we saw that, again, this led to trade imbalances and similar things that I mentioned to you before. However, with the COVID-19 period, it was a lessons learned for all of us. We found that at the end of 2018 and the beginning of 2019, when this pandemic started, first of all, the virus started, first of all, in the eastern part of the world, we found that with the lockdowns and shutdowns, goods and services originating from the East, but required in the West, there were problems with that. All of a sudden, in the virtual world of digitalization, there were physical barriers, something which nobody had thought of before. So this basically prompted companies to review and revise their business models, and particularly pertinent to the global supply chain. And now what I would like to talk about is how will the global supply chain look beyond COVID-19? Basically, we can say that globalization will tend to trend more in localization or regionalization as far as the global supply chain is concerned. We can basically imagine the world in 5 regions: EU and Middle East, the European Union and the Middle East, North America, Latin America, China, ASEAN, and of course, India and Africa. So if we say that we can split up the world into the 5 main regions as I just outlined, we will have the global supply chain operating within that region for the requirements of the markets, again, within that region. We can reduce this down to single markets or single countries, but it would be much more flexible and agile if we were able to practice within the region. So what does this mean for Turkey? Turkey is part of the European Customs Union. Turkey, geographically, is well placed, approximately 3 hours flight, to billions and billions of people and access to many markets. And finally, Turkey has a number of FTAs with the surrounding countries in the region which it operates. So let's talk about, again, the automotive industry. Traditionally, Turkey has a very strong base in both supply and OEMs. So it is an integral part of the Europeans' value-add chain, and a lot of sourcing is done in terms of semi-finished products or finished products here in Turkey for the European Union. So if an investor looking to start fresh with a greenfield operation or expand its current operations would have a very good base on which to operate in terms of labor, in terms of business models, in terms of source of raw products. So I think the future for Turkey, with its place in the global supply chain, looks bright. And furthermore, I can also say with the incentives that are supplied by the state for any companies looking to operate here in Turkey, it makes for an attractive and a business-friendly environment. And I can say this based on experience. Any company which is looking to do just that, that is a greenfield or a brownfield operation here in Turkey and increase their capacities with the global supply chain, they will probably find an attractive area where they would be able to add value to their global operations. All in all, having said all of that, I would like to take this opportunity again to congratulate YASED on its 40 years. And on this second day, I'd like to wish all the following speakers and the panelists a very productive and a very interesting day ahead. I'd like to thank you for inviting me and giving me the opportunity to address you on this topic, and I wish you all a very safe day. Thank you. Bye-bye.